Well, hello there, my name is Peter Thomson. I'm delighted to welcome you to this video training, which is all about one of the most fascinating subjects in business and in life, which is selling. I'm going to share with you some information today and on subsequent trainings about the 6-stage process of selling that I developed well over 30 years ago and have since taught to many people. Here are the 6 stages: open, gather, present, adjust, conclude and follow. And today we're going to be talking about the opening. My friend Ted Nicholas said this to me, and he said it in all of his books and programs. 75% of the buying decision is made at the headline. Now, Ted is the most successful self-published author in the world, an amazing man, extremely clever, particularly when it comes to marketing and sales. And if he says 75% of the buying decision is made at the headline, you and I can be pretty sure it's right. Now, it's the buying decision, not level of interest. The buying decision is made at the headline. So if you or I were looking at a piece of direct mail, or if we were looking at a web page, or we were looking at a Facebook post, or we were looking at an email, that first part of the communication is where we go, yeah. And the subsequent parts of the communication are where we go, yeah. That's the difference. And most people don't spend enough time on their headlines, and I've got a separate training on that, and they definitely don't spend enough time on the opening of their sales conversations. Now, this is the communicating with the potential customer, client, buyer, patient, whoever it might be that we're talking to. So it's not the planning stage. This, although there'll be some planning to be doing, this is the actual conversational stage. So we're going to talk about the opening, and this is where the opening fits in the process. We've got the opening leading through the action agenda, which you'll find on a separate training, into the gathering stage. You know, there's an expression by Tony Alexander which I think is just so appropriate when it comes to selling. And he says this: prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. And isn't that just so true? Prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. And so many people in business and in sales jump into a conversation and start to tell the potential customer or client what they have to offer before they find out whether or not it's even relevant to the person they're speaking to. I know that you and I will not be making this mistake. So let's talk about the background of this idea. I developed this, as I say, over 30 years ago, and I developed it in my own businesses. I was involved in the investigation business many more years ago than I care to remember, where we were being asked to trace over 4,000 people per month. And I was doing the sales. It was my own business. It was a small business. And I was phoning up people who had absconded debtors. So these were furniture companies and hire purchase companies and credit card companies and companies that sold to shops and offices. So massive opportunity there in the marketplace, and I had to have a great opening and a great sales process. That's where it all started. And I moved through a variety of various different businesses over time, one particularly involved in the finance business where I had a large sales team, and I crystallized my thought and turned them into processes so I could teach the members of the sales team. That was really successful. In just 5 years after I started that business, I sold it for multi-millions and retired. That's how powerful this process is. And since that time, which is well over 25 years ago, I've been teaching these ideas around the world to salespeople and business people, and they've been feeding back to me how powerful they are. Now, something to say right at the start of this is this: I don't have all the answers. I know some good stuff, I've got some great questions and some good material, but I definitely don't have all the answers. What I do know is this, is that the day you stop learning is the day you stop earning. And therefore, we've got to keep on learning new ideas and testing them and honing them and making sure they fit for our personality. And I know that this 6-stage process, you can plug your style, your personality, your knowledge, experience and expertise into it and make it work for you. So what are the benefits that people get and that you get from having a really powerful opening? Well, the first thing is that you actually engage the person that you're talking to. When I stand on stage, which I only do at my own events these days, I start like this. I say, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be with you and to have this opportunity to share with you some tried and tested and proven ideas for how we can, and whatever the subject matter is. Now, I've tried that opening over many, many years across the world and tested others against it, and I've found that that one works the best. So this is what we can do when we have an opening. When we know what it is that we're going to say and we say it, we can have a different version and we can test against it. Now that's a major benefit, because with any sales and marketing, one of the key things that we've got to be doing is testing. You'll also improve your conversion rates, because if we believe, and I believe we should believe, that 75% of the buying decision is made at the start, we'll call it headline, we'll call it opening, whatever it might be. If we believe that, then if we have a better opening, we're more likely to increase our conversion rates. Therefore, we'll make more sales. Therefore, we'll make more clients who stick with us, and we make more money over time. So we have a business or a career and a life of choice. Now, these openings you can also use in lots of other areas, as I've mentioned. You could use it in direct mail. Once you've crafted a powerful opening, a précis version of that, a truncated version of it, you can use on direct mail. You can use it on a postcard. You could use it in email subject line and the top of an email. You could use it on a web page. You could use it on a Facebook post or a LinkedIn post or anything else on social media. Openings are so important to our sales process.